The country's labor market beat economists' expectations last month. For the details on Statistics Canada's latest job report, let's bring in CTV's Scott Hurst. Scott, break down today's employment report for us.
Yeah, good morning, Arda. As you mentioned, this is much better than expected. Job numbers actually beating analyst expectations quite significantly, more than triple what was expected. Somewhere around 25,000 jobs is what economists were predicting heading in today's announcement. In fact, employment increased by some 76,000 jobs in January, and the unemployment rate therefore declined 0.1 percentage points to now it's at 6.6%. While the unemployment rate in Canada has declined in the past 2 months, it was higher this past month in January 2025 than it was 12 months earlier. Employment gains in the first month of the year were led by, most significantly, the manufacturing sector, which is quite significant, adding 33,000 jobs. And the labor force survey really highlighted the manufacturing sector in this report because employment in manufacturing may be particularly susceptible to changes in tariffs and foreign demand. Of course, with the threat of tariffs from the U.S. looming large over the Canadian economy, the manufacturing sector has the largest number of jobs dependent on U.S. demand for Canadian exports. An estimated 641,000, or just under 40% of jobs in manufacturing, depend on U.S. demand for Canadian exports. So quite a significant sector when it comes to the Canadian labor force. And so adding a good amount of jobs, really leading the way in January. But of course, there is quite a lot of uncertainty, and Arda, uncertainty is never good for the economy and for the Canadian market.
So how does this report compare to previous months?
So, Arda, with these latest numbers to kick off 2025, it marks the third consecutive month employment has ticked up. So we mentioned 76,000 jobs added in January. That's the number that just came out as part of the labor force survey. 91,000 jobs added in December and 44,000 added in November. And so, as we mentioned, going into today's report, there was an expectation of fewer jobs being added. So this is beating economist expectations. But as we mentioned, and the economy can't really get away from this discussion right now, but the threat of tariffs, despite this increase in jobs added, there's still a whole lot of concern when it comes to tariffs. And economists are predicting if those tariffs are imposed potentially as early March, economists believe the Canadian economy could enter a recession sometime around mid-year, Arda.
Very interesting. Thank you so much for this, Scott. Appreciate it.